The Battle of Badr, fought on March 13th, 624 CE, 17 Ramadan 2 AH, holds a pivotal place in Islamic history as the first major military confrontation between the early Muslim community and the Quraysh of Mecca. This battle, which took place in the arid desert of western Arabia near the town of Badr, about 80 miles southwest of Medina, was not only a decisive military victory for the Muslims, but also a significant moment that helped to solidify the position of Islam in the Arabian Peninsula. To understand the full significance of the Battle of Badr, it is essential to consider the broader context of early 7th century Arabia. The Prophet Muhammad, who had begun preaching Islam in Mecca around 610 CE, faced intense opposition from the Quraysh, the dominant tribe in Mecca. The Quraysh, who were staunch polytheists and held considerable power due to their control of the Kaaba, viewed Muhammad's monotheistic message as a direct threat to their religious and economic authority. As a result, they subjected the early Muslim converts, many of whom were from weaker clans or were slaves, to severe persecution. This hostility eventually led to the hijra or migration of Muhammad and his followers to the city of Yathrib, later known as Medina, in 622 CE. The hijra marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar and the establishment of a Muslim community with Muhammad as its leader. Despite the migration, the tension between the Muslims and the Quraysh did not subside. The Quraysh continued to view the nascent Muslim community as a threat, and the conflict between the two groups escalated. The Battle of Badr emerged from this ongoing struggle, sparked by the Muslims' interception of a Qurayshi caravan led by Abu Sufyan, one of the leaders of the Quraysh. The caravan, which was returning from Syria, was laden with valuable goods and was of significant economic importance to the Quraysh. Muhammad's decision to intercept the caravan was strategic. It was intended to weaken the Quraysh economically and demonstrate the growing power of the Muslim community. Upon learning of Muhammad's plan, Abu Sufyan sent word to Mecca, urging the Quraysh to dispatch a force to protect the caravan. The Quraysh responded swiftly, assembling an army of around 1,000 men, including many of their prominent leaders. In contrast, the Muslim force was significantly smaller, consisting of around 313 men. This disparity in numbers underscored the high stakes of the confrontation, as the Muslims were vastly outnumbered and outmatched in terms of equipment and resources. The two forces met near the wells of Badr, a strategic location that provided access to water in the otherwise harsh desert environment. The night before the battle, the Muslims camped by the wells, a position that would prove advantageous during the battle. Muhammad, displaying his leadership and spiritual guidance, spent the night in prayer, seeking divine assistance for the impending conflict. His confidence in victory, despite the odds, inspired his followers and strengthened their resolve. On the morning of the battle, the two armies faced each other across the battlefield. The Quraysh, confident in their superior numbers, were eager to crush the Muslim force and end what they saw as a growing threat to their dominance. The battle began with traditional Arabian combat, where champions from each side engaged in single combat. The Muslims, though fewer in number, demonstrated remarkable skill and bravery, and the Quraysh champions were quickly defeated. As the battle progressed, it became clear that the Muslims, though outnumbered, were fighting with a fervor that surprised the Quraysh. According to Islamic tradition, the Muslims believed that they were fighting with divine support. The Quran describes how angels were sent by God to assist the Muslims, further boosting their morale. This belief in divine intervention played a crucial role in the Muslims' victory, as they fought with an unshakable conviction that they were on the side of truth and justice. The turning point in the battle came when the Muslim forces launched a coordinated attack, breaking the Quraysh lines and causing chaos in their ranks. The Quraysh, who had entered the battle with confidence, were now in disarray, and many of their leaders were killed or captured. Among the prominent Quraysh leaders who fell at Badr were Abu Jahl, one of the fiercest opponents of Muhammad, and Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, a respected elder of the Quraysh. The death of these leaders was a significant blow to the Quraysh, both in terms of morale and leadership. By the end of the battle, the Quraysh were in full retreat, leaving behind 70 of their men dead and another 70 captured. The Muslim losses were significantly lower, with around 14 men killed. The victory at Badr was a momentous event for the Muslim community. It was seen not just as a military success, but as a vindication of their faith and a sign of divine favor. The battle also had far-reaching consequences for the balance of power in the Arabian Peninsula. The defeat severely weakened the Quraysh and emboldened the Muslim community in Medina. In the aftermath of the battle, the treatment of the Qurayshi captives by Muhammad was notable for its clemency. Rather than executing the captives, as was common practice at the time, Muhammad offered many of them their freedom in exchange for ransom. Some were even freed without ransom, particularly those who could teach the Muslims how to read and write, emphasizing the importance of knowledge in the new Islamic community. This act of mercy not only reinforced Muhammad's reputation for fairness and compassion, but also helped to foster a sense of justice and humanity within the Muslim community. The victory at Badr also had significant implications for the relationship between the Muslims and the various tribes of Arabia. Many tribes who had been watching the conflict between the Muslims and the Quraysh from the sidelines were now more inclined to ally themselves with Muhammad, seeing him as a leader with both divine favor and growing military strength. The battle marked a turning point in Muhammad's mission, as it demonstrated that the Muslims were a formidable force capable of challenging the Quraysh, the most powerful tribe in Arabia. The spiritual and symbolic significance of the Battle of Badr is reflected in the Quran, where it is mentioned in several verses. The battle is referred to as the Day of the Criterion, a day that distinguished between truth and falsehood. It is portrayed as a moment when the believers, despite being vastly outnumbered, were granted victory through divine support. This narrative reinforced the idea that the Muslim community was under the protection of God and that their cause was just. The impact of the Battle of Badr extended far beyond the battlefield. It played a crucial role in shaping the identity of the Muslim community, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. The victory also served to strengthen the leadership of Muhammad, who was increasingly seen not just as a spiritual leader, but as a capable military commander and statesman. His ability to lead the community through adversity and achieve victory against the odds solidified his authority and paved the way for the further spread of Islam in the Arabian Peninsula. The Quraysh, humiliated by their defeat at Badr, were determined to seek revenge. The battle set the stage for further conflicts between the Muslims and the Quraysh, most notably the Battle of Uhud and the Battle of the Trench. However, the psychological impact of the victory at Badr continued to resonate. It provided the Muslims with the confidence and legitimacy needed to pursue their mission with greater determination. In conclusion, the Battle of Badr was a defining moment in the early history of Islam. It was a victory that went beyond the mere military success, shaping the future of the Muslim community and laying the foundations for the eventual establishment of an Islamic state. The battle is remembered not only for its strategic significance, but also for its spiritual and symbolic importance, representing a moment when faith and determination overcame overwhelming odds. The legacy of Badr continues to be celebrated in Islamic tradition as a testament to the power of belief and the conviction that, with divine support, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome.